Hello there, beautiful women. This is Kim Parkinson with Podcasting for Spiritual Women. And this week we are celebrating Thanksgiving. And last week I celebrated my 50th birthday. So I thought I would do a little episode on being grateful. But let me tell you, I have so much to be grateful for that the direction for this episode was all over the place. And I just couldn't get it together. This is maybe the seventh time trying to record this, maybe more. And I thought, you know what? I am not going to put that kind of pressure on myself. I am grateful. I'm forever grateful for the wonderful husband that I have. I'm forever grateful for the two beautiful children that we have that are now men. And I'm forever grateful for the life that I have. I've had a lot of ups and downs in my life, but I have learned, I have expanded, I have grown, and I have moved forward. I've moved on. I've tried to stay consistent. I have faults, absolutely, but I try not to dwell on them. I always try to bring a smile every day. I feel like when you have a smile, you can hear it. And so I really feel like that's important. And I'll even smile and say hello to people in the grocery store just to say hi, just maybe to brighten their day. I am really one of those shiny, happy, lucky people. I just really love to bring a joy to other people. And when I started recording, I thought, I'm going to tell you the 50 things I'm grateful for, or I'm going to talk about all the different grateful things I have in my life. But then I quickly realized that you may or may not care about that. And this is supposed to be a podcast about podcasting, and it's supposed to help you realize what you need to do for podcasting. And while I'm absolutely thrilled with my life and I'm absolutely happy to tell you about all the things I am grateful for, I'm going to narrow this one down to some of the more pieces that directly involve podcasting because it directly involves your business, because it directly involves your life. So let me start with a couple of things that I'm super grateful for right now. When I was in high school, we did not have any kind of a recording device. As a matter of fact, if you wanted to record a mixtape, you had to have a dual cassette player and press the two buttons down to record and while the other one was playing. Or if you wanted a song from the radio, you had to wait. And then when that song came on, you had to start. And sometimes you'd get the announcer's voice, or sometimes you get a couple of seconds later. So that is such amazing that now all you have to do is press a button and you are recording. And it's your voice and you can reach worldwide global impact here. Absolutely amazing. If you wanted your friend from Boston to California to have a mixtape, you had to make multiple mixtapes and then mail them to them. So now, if you wanted those friends to have a mixtape, it is just a push of a button and they can have it. Or if you wanted them to hear your voice in a podcast, then you just have to give them the link. Amazing technology to have grown in my lifespan, right? To have evolved in my lifespan. Even in high school, I can remember my friend Jody and we didn't want to be secretaries when we got out of high school. So taking the typewriter class was not something we were thrilled with. And I can distinctly remember sitting in the back of the room with everybody else typing away and her and I eating black olives out of a can. I don't know why we were doing it, but we just didn't want to be secretaries. We did not. And now that's even a taboo word to use. Now you are an executive assistant or some type of other type of assistant, or maybe that's even evolved since I've been in the workforce. But I do know that back then it was go to the Kathy Gibbs School in Boston and we will teach you how to be a secretary. And we didn't want that. So we were already thinking a little bit bigger. We were already thinking outside the box in high school. And I'm going to go back to a client that just released an episode a couple weeks ago. This is the Goddess School podcast with Lisa Marie Rankin. And she talked to a woman named Parvati Marcus. And this is episode 60. So if you would like to go and experience that episode, it is amazing. And a lot of my clients have amazing episodes, but this particular one, Pavarti was talking about her teachings with Ram Dass and how when she was in the 60s, they would be trying to reach a new spirituality by dropping acid. And at first, when I was editing this, I was like, holy moly, what did she just say? But Lisa asked a question that really sparked some ideas in me, which I thought was amazing. She asked if Pavarti thought you still needed to do that to reach a level of spirituality. And Pavarti said, no, because the world has evolved, because we have evolved, because we have changed. And I thought, holy moly, again, how amazing is that we now have books, now have podcasts, we now have teachings and courses and classes and people willing to help you with whatever spirituality you want. There's so many different facets, so many different types. And when I was growing up, you were either Catholic or you were Protestant or Jewish. That was it. You had those three to choose from. And now it is so much bigger. And yes, maybe it was always so much bigger, but in the tiny sphere that I was in, that's all I knew. And that was because there wasn't this technology out there. There wasn't the ability to find out more in anything but maybe a book form. And maybe that book was dry and you didn't really want to read it, right? But now you can take a course, you can take a 1 hour Zoom class with somebody and they can help you. You can even be Reiki certified through that. Now, I don't know that I recommend that. I did take a Reiki certification this year. I am Reiki 1 certified and I did do it in person and it was the most magical thing. Now, my podcast growth certification that I received this year as well, that I earned, I would not have ever done this if it wasn't for all of these other pieces that have kind of fit together. All of these modalities that I have learned, all of the technology that I have learned, my years in TV when I had my own TV show and I learned some executive producing that way. And I learned how, we don't want dead air, so keep going. And just some of these pieces would not have been available without the advancements over the last 50, 60, 70 years. And I'm just so very grateful for it. And I really hope that you are grateful for it as well. So even though this is Thanksgiving week, and maybe you are grateful for family, maybe you're grateful for friends, maybe you are grateful for just the food that you're able to put on your table, just know that if you are listening to this podcast, it is due to advancements that we should all be grateful for. Maybe you're putting out a video podcast and you can do this because now you have that ability. We used to just have a monitor and a giant CPU. And now I went and bought a new phone last week and you can buy them that hold up to 2 terabytes. I did not buy that one, but you could. The technology advancements just allow you to express yourself, to share your wisdom, to share your creativity, to just expand your world in exponential ways. I know that there is something that you are maybe taking for granted. Maybe it's pushing that button on your laptop and it opening up and you having that Zoom call and you thinking, oh, another Zoom call. But let's think about that person on the other line. They're not next door. They're probably not even in your town. They may not even be in your state or country. And how amazing is it that you can still meet with them and that you now have a friend on the other side of the globe? It's absolutely mind boggling to me to think about the advancements that we have and how far reaching our voices and our teachings and our wisdom can be. So while I was really intending this grateful gratitude episode to kind of go in a different direction, I'm really allowing my self-projected projector here, 5-1 self-projected projector, to kind of take the reins and just say, let's focus on one thing, because that's what I teach. I teach you to focus on one topic that you're talking about in your podcast. And telling you all of these other bits and pieces, we're not going to make a cohesive episode. And so I really decided that I wanted to focus on making sure that we had something to be grateful for. So let me also tell you a few other people that I am super grateful for right now. I have a couple of clients that have really reached some amazing feats that would not have happened in their podcast if it wasn't for technology. I have seen clients more recently reach over 990% more downloads than they did. I have seen clients reach the top 100 in spirituality, in marketing, in self improvement. I've even had past clients reach top 100 in entrepreneurship. I've had some clients that have grown so much that they are now a life coach, and they're offering workbooks on Etsy, and they are offering 20-minute free discovery calls so that they can get their voice out to you, and you can then become a client of theirs, learning from their experiences, learning from their knowledge and wisdom. And those are just a few that I'm thinking of off top of my head. I actually have, honestly, I had a whole chat GPT that I did about, like, can you put all this together for me? I have my journal here that I know that, you might not be able to see. I even have like little notes all over my desk about all the different things I wanted to tell you how grateful I am. But these amazing women, and I'm going to actually link all of their shows in the show notes today. These amazing women have been growing their podcasts, have been getting their voices out there to the world because of this advancement in technology. Because again, when I graduated high school, this wasn't something that was readily available to us. This wasn't something that was even talked about. And so now we have our very own online digital mixtapes that we are creating on a weekly basis. And I'm here for it. I absolutely love it. And if you are thinking that maybe it is time for you to get your voice out there, I highly recommend that you start thinking about that seriously now. The next podcast growth season is starting January and will continue through the end of May, beginning of June. And you want to be on that train. You want to be on that bus. You want to be on that plane going full force and making sure that your episodes are dropping and you can take advantage of that growth season. It is the biggest growth season of the year. And it is just one where I think if you want to get a little bit of traction and momentum, it's a good time. It's a good time to get all of your ducks in a row. And if you already have a podcast, please do me a favor and don't stop podcasting for the month of December. Continue, even if they're short episodes, but continue, because those people in January are going to be ready. They're going to be at the gym. They're going to be doing their resolutions. They're going to be walking, whatever they're doing, and they're going to want to start listening to new material. And who's better than yours? So if you need any help with that, any assistance, I'm always here to help you. I am a certified podcast growth coach. I've been a podcast producer for years. I was an executive producer for a TV show prior to that. So I have a little bit of knowledge about what I can help you with. And I'm really good at the tech side of all of that. So I really invite you to reach out to me on DMs, in my Instagram, on any one of those platforms that you can find me. It is either KP Creative Media, or you can find me just Kim Parkinson, and reach out and we can have a little conversation about what your next steps might be. And if I'm not the right fit, I know lots of people that may be. So let's be grateful for technology. Let's be grateful for all of the advancements that we've had, and just add that to your plate this week when we're also thanking our family and our friends and all the wonderful, great things that are in our lives today. So Until next time, remember where your voice flows, your business grows. And again, I'm Kim Parkinson, podcast growth coach and podcast producer at KP Creative Media. And you are listening to Podcasting for Spiritual Women. Talk to you soon. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Podcasting for Spiritual Women. If you would like more strategy and tips and some tricks on how to make your podcast better, I recommend that you join my newsletter list. You can find that at kpcreativemedia.com/newsletter. Until next time.